The word still rang in my head like a cruel echo. You'll need to choose between work and family. She said it with such icy detachment, as though my father's death was nothing but an inconvenience on her schedule. My wife's sister, HR manager, queen of policy, guardian of the company's soulless rules. She didn't even flinch when I told her my father had died, when I asked for just 7 days to bury him. 7 days. Instead, she looked down at her clipboard, tapped her pen, and reminded me of productivity charts, of deadlines, of shareholders. And I, dumb, broken, numb, just nodded. I walked out without a word, the silence heavy between us. But inside, something was cracking. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't mourn. Not yet. Instead, I sat in the dark with my father's watch in my palm, the same watch he wore every day of his life. The tick of its second hand felt louder than my own heartbeat. The anger crawled up my spine, steady and burning. My father gave his whole life to hard work, loyalty, integrity. And what did it get him? Forgotten before the dirt even covered him. My boss, HR, my wife's sister, all of them blind to humanity. They thought they owned me. They thought I was another line on their spreadsheet. So I made a decision. I had access. Years of late nights, endless trust, projects no one else wanted to touch. I become indispensable, which also meant I knew where things were hidden, how things flowed, what wasn't on the books. My boss never realized that invisible work cuts both ways. That night, I moved something worth $4.5 million, to a place he, HR, the board, none of them could touch. Not cash, not gold, but leverage. Assets disguised in plain sight, quietly shifted into the shadows, in a way that would take them years to untangle, if they even discovered it at all. I told no one, not even my wife, especially not her, because here's the part one didn't expect. Grief makes you reckless, but betrayal makes you dangerous. And yet, in the middle of all that fire came her. Her name was Eliza, not my wife's sister, not HR, not another part of that toxic circle. Just Eliza, quiet, kind, a co-worker who had always hovered on the edges of my life without me really seeing her. She noticed, though. She noticed when my tie was crooked, when I was drowning in reports, when my eyes were hollowed out from sleepless nights. The day after my father's funeral, because I took it anyway, no matter what they said, she found me sitting in the break room, staring at the vending machine like it might offer answers. "You don't look fine," she said softly, sliding a cup of coffee across the table. "And don't tell me you are." That was all it took. Her voice, warm where everything else was cold. And for the first time, I let the dam crack. We started talking. Just talking at first. She'd ask about my father, and I'd tell her stories. The way he'd whistle when he worked. The way he'd tuck dollar bills into my books as a kid. Little surprises for me to find. She listened, really listened. Not like my wife, who nodded politely before changing the subject to groceries or her sister's new promotion. Eliza leaned in, her eyes soft, her hand brushing mine, when words got stuck in my throat. Days blurred into weeks, and grief became the thread that wove us together. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I was just grateful for kindness. But the first time her fingers lingered on mine too long, I didn't pull away. And when she hugged me in the parking lot, my body folded into hers as though I had been starving for it. It wasn't about desire, not at first. It was about being seen. About having someone care when the people closest to me had chosen power and rules over love. But desire is patient. Desire waits for cracks, then slips through like water. One night, after another brutal showdown with my wife's sister, this time about performance metrics, as though grief could be measured on a chart, I walked out, shaking with rage. Eliza was waiting by my car. She didn't ask what was wrong. She just opened her arms, and I fell into them. The kiss was inevitable. It tasted of guilt and relief, of sorrow and wildfire. I should have stopped it. I should have stepped back. But instead, I pulled her closer, because in her arms I felt something I thought I'd lost with my father, connection. The affair wasn't planned. It unfolded like a secret language. Stolen lunches, texts in the dead of night, whispered promises in parking lots. With her, I was alive again. With her, I remembered laughter, tenderness. The way my father always said life was about the people who made your heart beat faster, not the ones who kept score. But every time I came home, the weight of it pressed harder. My wife, oblivious. Her sister, smug and sharp-eyed, controlling both my job and my home like some cruel puppeteer. And in my chest, the war raged, guilt for betraying my vows, fury at being forced to this edge, hunger for the only place I felt human anymore. The $4.5 million sat hidden, a ticking secret that tied me to a path I couldn't undo. My father's memory whispered that I had already crossed too many lines. But Eliza's hand on mine made me believe maybe, just maybe, there was still a way forward. The truth? I don't know where this road ends. Whether I'll burn for what I've done, or whether I'll finally find peace. All I know is this. The night HR told me to choose between work and family, something inside me broke. And in that fracture, love slipped through the cracks. Not where it should have been, not where the world expected it, but where it was needed most. And now, every choice I make is colored by that moment. By grief, by betrayal, by the forbidden comfort of another's arms. By the knowledge that I moved something worth millions, yes, but what I truly moved was myself, from the man I was, into the man I never thought I'd become.